Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi, ho, everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly, the show where we talk about weekly shows. I totally flubbed the intro. Oh well. We talk about shows exclusive to Disney Plus on this show. We're talking about The Mandalorian Season 3, Mitch. Oh my god, it's out. It's happening. Mando is back.
Bright Suns, Griffin. Oh my God, is it back and better than ever?
Bright
Or
Suns,
I guess as
indeed.
good as it ever was. I don't like. I wanted more. They only gave me 35 minutes,
Look,
and I'm sitting there like, that's it.
Look, it's
Come
just the season opener.
on.
It's just the beginning of this season.
Such a tease.
Remember, folks, we are talking about Mando Season 3. This is a show where we go into things with full spoilers. But before we do that, let me give you all the rigmarole. First off, thank you very much for listening and / watching. If you're listening, please go and check us out over on YouTube at D Plus Us. Links are in the descriptions for all podcasts. Video is our big push for a while until we get those numbers up, so please come hang out with us on video. Let us know what you thought of The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1 in the comments below. And remember, folks, this is full spoilers, not just for The Mandalorian. It is full spoilers for really all of Star Wars. We don't know where we're going to go in this conversation, but it's going to be a great time. With that, Mitch, full spoilers now. How'd you feel about this opener?
2 words. Space whales.
Space whales.
We got space whales.
Yeah, we got those wonderful, wonderful space whales from Rebels showing up. Filoni out here.
You know
teasing.
the internet is seeing those space whales like, oh my God, Ezra Bridger confirmed for Mando Season 3 because of space whales. The same way, we all thought Mephisto was confirmed for WandaVision, and we all saw where that went. So the internet can say what they want to say. That's definitely an Ahsoka story, not a Mando Season 3 story.
Oh, I get a feeling we're going to get a lot of little bits and pieces in this season of like, hey, here's what's happening in the future. And it's going to be stuff like this, where it does not matter to the point of the story, but it is something kind of just fun to throw in there. Because,
Is Ahsoka this year? I
think
feel
it's
like
the
it
end of the
is.
year, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I love this episode. This episode was so fun and got me right back into loving Mando. Like, it's a very slow start, which, take it or leave it. And there is this weird. We're playing with the rules of time very loosely now.
I honestly thought we were opening this episode with a flashback, and this was Din Djarin's initiation
Dude,
into
I
the
thought
cult
for
of
the exact
Mando.
same thing.
And then it wasn't. It very much was not. And I'm happy. Like that misdirect. I don't know how we all felt that way, and we're all misdirected. Like that kid looks like he could have been Pedro Pascal's son.
Oh yeah, but dude, the moment when he comes flying in on the Naboo starfighter, it just blasts that thing. Was so great.
But that did the other Mandalorians not have more firepower than just the flamethrowers and blasters they were using? Like, why does Mando gotta come in and save the day with a starfighter? Like, it just seems very, very fortunate timing. Like, what would they have done otherwise? Going for the next 2 or 3 hours trying to wear this thing down?
Well, here's the thing. First off, suspension of disbelief is extremely important in this scene.
You're right. Space cowboy opera. Got it.
Mm-hmm. But also something religious ritual, probably not bringing all their weapons, but also this cult of the Mandalorians weapons kind of are part of their religion. I don't know. It's Star Wars. We're not here to think too far about it. We're just here for a good time.
Also, I feel bad for all these kids having to put these helmets on and never taking them off again.
Those gotta get real sweaty real fast.
They can all be stinky by the time they're in their teens.
Acne is a very big problem for the Mandalorians. Mostly because they never take off their helmets.
Yeah. Except to eat and presumably sleep.
But no, I really like what we're setting up, though, for this season. Obviously, we do have this whole Mandalore storyline, and I think where they put Bo-Katan, especially, is going to be very interesting for all of this. Her troops and her fleet all just kind of fucked off because she didn't have the saber.
Yeah, they're almost setting her up to be the antagonist of the season of, okay, well, Mando's going to go and do all the Mandalore things and get the gang back together. And then Bo-Katan's going to come in at some point and subvert that and want to fight for the Darksaber, to fight for the crown of Mandalore and all this stuff, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
My working
Because
theory
ultimately,
is, that we're gonna have that. We're going to have that conflict, and she's going to win it back. I think the antagonist of the season. I think it's going to be the armor. I think it is.
That would be
going to
interesting
this
too. Yeah. Honestly, though, I really hope, like, Mandalorian is such a phenomenal program, and I really hope that the executives at Lucasfilm and at Disney aren't going to meddle too much and try and get Filoni to and Favreau to stretch this out, because it almost feels like in that conversation that Mando has with Grief Karga, with Carl Weathers' character, that they're kind of getting to a point where, like, you can slow down, you can just take a load off, settle in, just be the marshal of that planet, Navarro, I think it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Navarro, yeah.
Navarro.
And live a life here and set up other stories in the Star Wars universe. Because what's been really nice, outside of the Skywalker saga, of course, within Star Wars, is nothing's really overstayed its welcome. They've told these succinct stories that have had reasonable conclusions for the most part, and let Mando's story end. Don't pad this out. Like, you can find ways to have Grogu have his own show or movie or literally everything, because Grogu is life.
Oh, look, Grogu.
It doesn't necessarily need to be
Mandalorian of the sequel series. There you go. That's all you need. Like,
or Mando season 4 or season 5, whenever they want to stop telling Din's story, is just, okay, time jump, and it's been 30 years, and Grogu is the Mandalorian.
Time jumps are a beautiful thing in that sense. So you can really do whatever you want.
Have Mandalorian then be Grogu as a force wielding, Darksaber wielding, friggin' Mandalorian badass. Like, why not?
Literally just fight scenes galore. That's all you need from it.
Yeah.
Just Yoda flips everywhere and force powers, but also a dope black saber.
I'm all about it.
No, I think the interesting thing for me in this season, like just starting it right off the bat, is him immediately being like, I need this droid. Immediately wanting to get IG-11 back. We see straight up like a zombie-ass resurrection of this droid.
Now that's used in your head.
Yeah. But I think
you get the Babu freaks. I don't know what they're called, so I'm just going to call them the Babu freaks.
Yeah, the Babu
and that
freaks.
was fun.
But like having them in there, like Mando, like just seated in there.
Mando's sitting there. The ceiling's up to like the top of his head.
That was like ridiculous. I don't know about you, but I thought that was absolutely hilarious with Carl Weathers like leading in from the outside, translating when he does not need to.
No, I get it. Just stop. And it's like I appreciated that they were leaning into a bit of the comedy here, because it is such a ludicrous situation of the Mandalorian sitting in the room here, because he cares a lot about this stupid droid that he started out the series hating droid. So it's, character development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really interested to see what they do with that. Of like, okay, so theoretically you have this first part of the season being like, okay, you go, you get the chip, you come back, he's fixed, then you guys all go to Mandalore. How's IG-11 gonna get there? You're gonna just fold him up and put him in the back of the ship? Because that wouldn't work. I'm interested to see, like, are they gonna fully fix him up? Is he gonna be like mostly okay? Like, they could do some really cool stuff with that.
I think we're going to get this moment where Mando returns to the Babu freaks, which is just what I'm going to call them from now on, because I don't know the name of the species. And they will have fixed him up. Like, they'll have given him, because the only other they'll have given him legs and stuff, and he'll be all right. But again, suspension of disbelief moment. When he exploded, like, that detonator was in the middle of his chest. There is no universe in which they recovered that much of him intact with the way that explosion happened. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense.
True. Very true. But also, like, this, I had to look it up, the Anzellans. Like, their whole thing is taking droids that should not be able to be fixed and doing insane things with them.
Yeah.
Also,
no, I'm curious to see, because I just want Taika Waititi back in this series, because he was really funny as IG-11. So getting him back here is honestly a nice surprise. I could also see them going down a route where they aren't able to get the chip and they aren't able to fix him, and he's just got to do this himself, or learn to trust another droid, and then there'll be a new droid introduced or something along those lines.
The way I see
it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
if in that situation, I could totally see them being like, "Oh yeah, IG-11's back," but for some reason with the repair, he can't leave the planet. Like we weren't able to replace like the bottom half of him or some shit, like something
Okay,
stupid, some way to be like, okay, friend is back, but also I still have to do this alone. Like I can totally see them doing something like that. Whatever dumb Star Wars thing you want to do with it.
No, they'll Chewbacca it with C-3PO and just throw him in a backpack.
replace the jetpack with IG-11.
Or they just install him they install him as a hood ornament on the Naboo starfighter or something.
Mm-hmm. We talk about this being a Western a lot because it's totally a Western. We got a duel this week. We got
Between
a duel,
Pirates and Carl Weathers being a badass,
which was such a like awesome moment that I did not see coming at all. Like this whole it was a bar, it's a school now, bit with these pirates was so cool. We need more pirates in Star Wars. Space pirates just definitively are cool.
I mean, we did do a react to the new Peter Pan and Wendy trailer, which does feature pirates. So we just need more pirates in everything, honestly.
Pirates are cool. You heard it here first, folks. We are
I don't think we're the first ones to say it.
We are definitely the first people to say that pirates are cool. Nobody has beaten us to this. But no, speaking of the pirates, I hope the pirate thing kind of sticks around. I hope we get a little bit, make that a subplot of this season, because it feels like, obviously I have nothing to back this up. We are one episode into the season. But it feels like this season is going to be less Monster of the Week, different stories every week, and a lot more one long story over the season. More serialized.
I do think we'll get some of these interstitials, some of these fetch quests, like this first thing with the personality chip or whatever it is that he's out hunting for. But I do think that this is definitely an opportunity for them to take the characters of Din and Grogu and really grow their relationship and make it feel like we were all so invested in this after only 2 seasons, plus the 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett that were pretty much just Mando season 3, episodes 1 and 2. And they can really take these characters to interesting places that they can subvert some expectations that a lot of people probably have of these characters and of Star Wars as a universe, and find new ways to tell stories in this space. And I think the team of Filoni and Favreau are the ones to do it. So I'm super optimistic that we're going to get some different like it's going to feel like succinctly Mandalorian, but it's going to do things in a way that we haven't seen before from either Mandalorian or Star Wars, which I think is the best way to move this program forward, or to move this series forward.
My big issue with Star Wars television in particular, outside of the couple of limited series that we've gotten, is that it is very Monster of the Week. It is very, even with like Clone Wars or Bad Batch, like you'll have these longer stories, but it will just be, oh, these take 3 episodes instead of 1 episode, and then we move on to an entirely different story, which is, it's fun for some shows, but it's not necessarily what I want out of Star Wars.
Yeah. It may all, like, for me, it's probably one of the reasons why I haven't been watching Bad Batch week to week. I'm kind of letting 3 or 4 episodes queue up and then going through a bunch of them at once, because similar to your point, like, it doesn't feel as meaningful to just finish a single episode on a Wednesday and then just wait for the next one. Whereas Mandalorian, although this episode being as short as it was, left me wanting way more. At the end of the day, each one sort of, no matter what, is leaving with that feeling of desiring more, because you want to see where this story is going. You want to see how these characters develop, how this plot develops. And it's been something they've done really well, I think, with seasons 1 and 2, with some of those interstitial Monster of the Week episodes. And I really do hope, to your point, that it becomes much more of a plot-driven show. And maybe that's just the Pedro Pascal fan in me and watching The Last of Us right now and wanting to just see more of that kind of storytelling with that actor in the Star Wars universe.
I think this was
that's just wishful thinking.
Is it just me, or was this episode the most Mando has spoken in an episode? Because he does not shut up in this episode, and I kind of love it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a shift in character, and maybe that is the time jump that we got here. Of them saying, I think it's been 2 years. It was 2 years between seasons 2 and 3.
Somehow, the Book of Boba Fett took 2 years.
Well, it's not that took 2 years. It's that they aren't. I don't know.
Like, what we know is that for some, Grogu was, or like, I think it was between Mando season 2 and Book of Boba Fett, that was 2 years.
That
'Cause
yeah, that
the whole
seems
idea
reasonable.
thing that they said in that interview was Grogu was with Luke for 2 years.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, you're playing really loose with time. I don't care. It's Star Wars.
Let them. It gives them ways to be like, oh yeah, we're telling another story in this time frame. Hey, look, here's what Mando was up to for a year and a half.
Also, realistically, Navarro would not look that good if it had been anything less than 2 years.
Even 2 years is kind of cutting it. I also love that they had
Navarro was a shithole. So
they had a one-liner to write. What's her name out of the series?
Yeah, Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. Yeah, thank you.
She got
And
she died on her way back to her home planet. I will find a way to turn that into a verb.
I mean, yeah, we just call it getting Gina.
Yeah, I'm happy she's out. Like, obviously, we've talked about this a lot of. She's a piece of shit. So yeah, fuck off.
Yeah.
But it was great. Of like, yeah, no, she went off with some special ops people. Don't worry about her. She doesn't matter anymore. I'm trying to think what else kind of happened this week, because not a ton happened. Oh, that's right, the big one that I wanted to talk about, the dogfight, dude.
Oh, that was so dope.
That might be one of my, if not my favorite dogfight in Star Wars.
It's definitely up there with the Obi-Wan Jango Fett one from episode 2. That was a really good one. I really like the dogfight in episode 7 with the Millennium Falcon.
That is a good one. I don't know that.
Outside of that, I'm kind of with you.
This one had like the music was great with it. The actual dogfighting was awesome. Like the way Mando's surrounded by like 6 of these guys and is using the asteroids to weave and take them out. Really
like hiding and then picking them off was like seeing that almost like strategic like war, like the general in him of like, okay, if I hide in here, then I can come out, pop out, get one guy, hide back in here, and it's so methodical in the way that he took out these different starfighters. It was great.
We got to taste a lot, like the ability of like the crazy power that this guy will have using an N1 starfighter when they fix it up in the Book of Boba Fett. But like really getting to see it here was super fun. Like the reveal of the giant ass pirate ship as well. And then him basically being like, F you, hyperspace, let's go. Or hyperspeed. Like, everything about it was just so fun and so great. I want to go back and rewatch it right now.
Honestly, I was watching it again, just leading up to you and I recording. I was waiting for you to finish work, and I'm just like, I just want more. I just need more. Give me more. Gimme. And I know that's being selfish, but also Filoni knows what we want, and he's going to make us wait. And I applaud him for it, but I also could wring his neck for it.
Yeah, it's a good place to put us after the first episode of the season. It's like, yep, I just want more. And that's the best thing I can say about it is I just want more.
Like 7 more weeks of this, Griffin, and I cannot wait. And in those 7 weeks, we're probably going to get an announcement of when we're getting Secret Invasion. So you'll know very shortly when
we'll do that one.
What our next weekly series is going to be, which will definitely be, I'm assuming it's going to be that. I don't think anything else will come out between this and that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'd have to look at a calendar. Yeah, I'm really excited for the continuation though of this series. Like it is the reason people buy Disney Plus. This is the reason people come to Disney Plus. Like the Marvel stuff.
It's the reason any of us subscribed to Disney Plus when it launched. This was the show. This was the thing. This was the reason to subscribe. And 4 years later, it still is.
Yeah, it's shocking that we're at the beginning of season 3 and everyone's just as much as in love with these characters as they were in season 1. Like the Grogu shenanigans in this episode especially was like, yep, this is why I love this show.
He's using the Force to spin the chair.
Or when he hugs the droid worker.
And he hugs the Babu freaks a little too hard.
He's like, no squeeze. It was so cute. And then, of course, like, the only thing I needed to really get me happy about this week's episode was just when they landed and Grogu pops out of his little cockpit area.
That, but also Carl Weathers has cape bots, and I don't know how I feel about that, but it's also a real boss move.
It is a power play for sure. Like, yeah, I've got a robot that follows me just to carry my cape. Great episode.
Cannot wait for more.
Mm-hmm. We will be here, though, folks, reacting to each and every episode. Mitch, This is good. This is gonna be a fun ride. This is gonna be a really fun one.
This is the way, Griffin. This is the way.
Yeah, if people want to keep up with us while we're doing this, where can people find us?
D plus us on all your social networks of choice. TikTok, YouTube are really important right now. D plus us. Griffin's all over the internet at GriffyDpad. That's GRIFFIDPAD. I am everywhere at Mr. Mitch George. Links at MitchGeorge.com.
Yeah, keep an eye out on our stuff here. We've got plenty of other content as well. We've got trailer reacts. We've got our main show. We have so much coming out.
Shorts, TikToks, Vines, if Vine was still a thing.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, we'll see if how much longer we can use TikTok.
Yeah, our government's already said, nah, we probably shouldn't be using this.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for our other stuff, though. If you're watching this the week it comes out, next week we will have a brand new episode about Star Wars as well, talking about Star Wars The Last Jedi. So keep an eye out for that. Go and check out our last episode about Ant-Man Quantumania. And yeah, that's all of our stuff. Until next time, folks, bright suns, and have a magical day.